everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Faith. Thank you so much for being here. If as you're watching you like what you see, I would love it if you subscribed to my channel. Today I was inspired by Gina Schkida, I think is how you say it. She recently did a video where she did kind of like a semi-permanent freckle sort of thing where she used tanning mousse to do freckles, and so I definitely wanted to show you guys how to do that. I thought it was such a great idea. I will link her original video down below if you want to check it out. I had never thought of doing freckles that way before. Normally when I do fake freckles I use eyeshadow, and obviously that washes right off, but the great thing about doing it this way is, one, if you're like out in the summer, maybe like at a party or you're in the water, these won't wash off right away, and plus they'll probably stay for like a couple days, which is really, really nice. I also think that they look a lot more natural than eyeshadow or, you know, eyeliner or anything like that, because once you wipe away that guide color, I'll kind of explain what all that means when we get into the tutorial, it kind of just leaves like a sheer freckle, which looks really, really natural. After I show you how to do the freckles, I did do a tutorial on this makeup look, this face makeup look, to show you how you can do your base makeup over the freckles so that they show through and so that you look really, really sun-kissed and almost like sunburnt. Shout out to my mom. I finally have some pretty flowers in the background. These peonies are from her garden. She brought them over to me this morning and I absolutely had to have them in the background. They're just so, so pretty. They helped in my little intro as well. So that's all I have to say. Let's get right on into the video. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with the freckles. I did just want to mention what I already have on my face, just so you know. I did already do like a very minimal eyeshadow look with a bronzer and mascara. I have filled in my brows. I obviously have lips on. Well, I don't know if it's obviously, but I have lip liner on. And I did conceal right under my eyes here just to get that out of the way. But other than that, I have nothing on my face because we want the tanner to actually touch our skin and dye the skin. After we do this step, I will show you the type of makeup I would put over it so that the freckles show through, but that you get a little more coverage and some color and things like that. So the tools I'm using for the freckles are the Loving Tan Deluxe Bronzing Mousse, and this is in the shade Ultra Dark. This is the tan that I normally use for my body. I did use it maybe, I don't know, a little over a week ago. Most of it's gone by now, but this is my favorite tanner. I just have like a little cap thing that I'm going to put some in. This isn't like a makeup product that you could kind of put on the back of your hand and dip from because it would stain your hand. So you want to make sure you have some sort of surface to put the tan product on. And then you really need a very, very defined brush. Can you hear the lawnmower? I'm sorry if you can hear that. This is the 708 Bent Eyeliner Brush from Bdellium. I will link this down below. This is a really, really nice, tiny precision brush. What I have used this for most is actually doing fake freckles, but with eyeshadow. So I'm just going to plop some of this into my cap. That's probably way too much. We're not going to use all that, but... And let me zoom you in here so you can see how I apply the freckles. So I'm just going to take my brush right in the tanning mousse, take off a little bit of the excess, and then start applying. And we'll start lightly because you can always add more. You just want to be very, very careful. What I like to do is kind of go where I already see some coloration. So like I see a dot here. So I'll just intensify that. And you don't want this to be symmetrical. A lot of people I see doing the fake freckles, it's a lot of the times like pretty symmetrical and evenly spread out. You don't want that because that is not how you would naturally freckle. You don't naturally freckle perfectly symmetrical. I do tend to freckle up on the forehead as well, so I'm going to add some there. At this point, I think I have enough on the face, so now what you need to do is just let this sit on the skin for about 10 to 15 minutes. You don't need to leave it on for the full like hours and hours. It will leave a little bit of a dye behind, and we don't want this to be too intense. Like right now, this I think looks a little too intense. When we wipe it away, it'll just be like a little bit of a stain. So I'm gonna let this sit on my skin for a little bit, and I'll be right back. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes, so I'm just going to take a damp washcloth and pat it away and just kind of wash away the excess. In the Loving Tan, there's like what's called a guide color. So there's the color that you actually see when you place it down, but then that washes away to the actual stain where it like changes your skin color. So by taking away that, it looks a lot more natural. And I'm just very lightly tapping because we don't want to irritate the skin. We are going to be going in with a little bit of makeup, and we just don't want to like be wiping. Do you know what I mean? That could also kind of smear anything that hasn't been perfectly set in yet. So we just want to be careful. So now you can see nice little freckles that you can totally like touch and rub, and they're not going to go anywhere. And these will probably last you a couple days. If you exfoliate a lot, they're gonna come right off, but they will fade and last longer than obviously like an eyeshadow or something that would just wash right away. So I'm gonna zoom you guys out a little bit, and I will show you how I will then finish off my makeup and kind of allow the freckles to show through while also giving myself a little bit of coverage and doing a little bit of a makeup look. So when I want some of my natural skin to show through, my favorite thing to use is this from Tarte. This is their Amazonian Clay BB Tinted Moisturizer. I love this in the summertime. It does give a little bit of coverage, but not too much. So I'll just take a little bit, like about this much, on my fingers and just kind of pat this on and rub it in like a moisturizer. And this will give, as you can see, like a little bit of coverage here, but it won't cover up the freckles. And I am going to be very light with my finger where we go over the freckles because I want them to show through. So I just kind of tap like that once we get up towards the freckles. I normally would not apply anything with my fingers really, but this will really give us a sheer coverage, which is what we want. We want these freckles to show through. Okay, now that that's on, you can kind of see my skin does look a little bit better, and it just evens out any discoloration that you might have. Next, I'm going to use a powder foundation. This is from BareMinerals. This is their BarePro Performance Wear Powder Foundation in the shade Camel. I'm just going to very lightly kind of dust this over where we put the BB cream and even go on to the nose a little bit. The nice thing about a powder foundation is you can very easily apply it sheer by using like a big fluffy brush instead of a kabuki brush, which is generally what you would apply a powder foundation with if you wanted intense coverage. But by using a powder foundation with a big brush, you get a little bit more coverage, but it's sheer and you can really pinpoint where you want it. So I'm first kind of placing it down here right after I go into the pan, but then moving along to the rest of my face, and you can see it's giving me a lot of coverage, but you can still see the freckles through everything. I want to bronze the skin up a little bit as well, so I'm going to use this from MAC. This is their Give Me Sun bronzer. This is one of my favorite bronzers to use in the summertime. I just love the shade of it. And I'm going to just use the Real Techniques sculpting brush to apply this right where I want it, and then I'll blend out. I think adding a nice bronze and like tan look with the freckles makes them look even more real because it kind of looks like you've been out in the sun. I'm going to apply some of that along the nose as well. Woo, that was a little bit too much. I'm just going to dust that off, but applying a little bronzer to the nose where you naturally, like where naturally the sun would hit you. Right here over the freckles. makes it look really, really natural and like you were kind of laying out in the sun and naturally got these freckles. Put a little on the chin. Next, I'm going to use a little bit of blush, and I'm going to use this from Milani. This is their Baked Powder Blush in the shade Corallina. So this is a very orangey corally shade of blush, and it has some gold shimmers in it. So I think this is going to be perfect. It's going to give us a really flushed look, which will make us look like we've kind of been in the sun again. And the gold shimmers will just be really, really gorgeous. So you just kind of want to put that right on the apples to start, and then I am going to dust it over the nose as well, almost like we have a sunburn. I'm going to put a little on the forehead as well to give us that sunburned effect. Then I'm going to set the face so that everything stays in place. I'm using the MAC Fix Plus in Gold Light. So this has some really pretty shimmers in it. It'll give our skin a nice dewy glow. And that is it for the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this little freckle hack and this really natural sun-kissed, sunburnt makeup look. I think that this is just a gorgeous look for summer. It's just something that looks really fresh and healthy, and I'm totally loving it. I love you all so much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!